welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my fitness journey, so grab yourself a cuppa because we've got a lot to talk about. I'm coming up to the age of 36, so obviously there's a lot. I'm making this video because I'm about to enter a different fitness era in my life, and also I want you to understand that everyone's path is completely different. And I don't just mean within fitness, I mean all the circumstances leading up to that point as well, as in relationships, growing up, your influences. And so during this video, I will be referring to my food journey, my mindset, and a lot around relationships, because that did play a huge influence as to where I was at. So let's start off way back when Amy was a young girl. Growing up, I was an only child. I didn't have a dad. It was just me and my mum, and my mum is just not sporty whatsoever. She's into horse riding, and she got me into horse riding, so that's the only kind of sport I did from a young age. Then when I got to the age of around 13, boys and alcohol became a lot more interesting, and I kind of quit horses, kind of became a teenager. And during this time I absolutely hated PE, and when I was 15 I got diagnosed with glandular fever. I was put in hospital for a week, came out with a doctor's note, and the doctor had not put a date on it, so I used that doctor's note for the next 2 years to never have to do PE again. However, when I did do PE, I realised I was not a team player. I mean, like, if we're playing netball, do not pass me the ball. I was much better off doing like the lone kind of sports, like running and like hurdles, that kind of thing. But yeah, I was just not into it. I was really small and petite growing up, like really kind of slim and skinny, and I never really thought anything about my body until I was about 15, and I got my first job at a pizza place. And I remember someone in that pizza place, I can't remember word for word, but he said something along the lines of, I'd be attractive if I had more weight on me, or when I fill out, or something like that. So I proceeded to eat pizzas 5 nights a week to try and put on weight. I never really put on a lot of weight. However, when I was like 18, 19, I became a lot more conscious of it. I definitely, like, it caught up with me. Eating all those pizzas had definitely caught up with me at that point. And I thought, oh shit, like, I probably need to do something about this. So I started doing all the silly fad diets in the magazines. Lose a stone in 12 days, or here's your 4-day detox, or the Special K diet, like all of these silly little diets that I was just getting out of magazines. And I remember going to work, I'd be doing like 14, 16-hour days, like long ass days on my feet. And all I'd have is a Tupperware box with cucumber feta and a Ryvita and a couple of tomatoes. Like, I didn't even eat the tomatoes because I didn't like them, but it made it look colourful. I just had no clue when it came to nutrition, because let's face it, we didn't get taught about it in school. And yeah, I just had no idea like what I was doing. So it was at that point I decided to join a gym, and again I had no clue what I was doing. I joined this gym, I would go on the treadmill for like 30 minutes and then get off and go home. Like, I literally had no idea, and obviously that's quite boring, so I did not keep it up, and I just went and lived life for a bit between the ages of like 18 to 23, let's say. I was, well, during that time I was single, and I was just really like ambitious, and so I worked hard and I travelled a lot, travelled the world. Like, I partied hard, I travelled, like, life was a good time. However, I did need to come back to my fitness, because that was not a priority during that time. When I was coming back to my fitness, I still had all of these different beliefs in my head from the magazines, i.e. bread is bad. So I wasn't eating bread for a good amount of time, and like avoiding carbs, avoiding all sugar, cutting out big food groups basically. And I remember meeting this guy when I was like 25, and we would date, and I was just eating meat like when we were going out on dates. Like, I was just avoiding all the potato and everything else. This point of my life was quite significant, because this is when it really changed for the good, fitness wise anyway. So I started getting back into working out. I started doing like home workouts and running, However, I still had no clue when it came to food. I was still avoiding carbs, and I was a very small, skinny girl again. So when I'm getting back into fitness and my home workouts and running, I'm really getting into OCRs, obstacle course races, and this was my thing. I absolutely loved it. What I loved about it was the variety of it. Everything was so different. I got back to the gym and I hired myself a PT because I really wanted to like educate myself more around the gym, and so he introduced me to weights, and that's where I found my love of weights, because before I didn't have a clue. And now this is where like my love for the gym came in. I now understood the gym, and I could see my body changing as well for the better. Like I could see a lot more definition, a lot more tone, and yeah, I was just really enjoying it, and I carried on with it. And because I couldn't afford a personal trainer so often, I would do a lot of research at home as well. During this time, I was in a job that I'd got so far with, like you couldn't get any further. Like I'd worked my way to the top and I couldn't go any higher, and that made me quite miserable because I just felt so stuck in the same place. And I remember coming home one night, and I came home back to the boyfriend at the time, and the thing he said to me this night changed my life forever, and I am so grateful to him for this, and it stays with me to this day, like 10 years on. So I came home crying and I was miserable with my job, and he said to me, what would your dream job be? And I really struggled in telling him because I thought it was so laughable. I didn't think it was achievable at all. I just thought he's gonna laugh at me. So I told him, I said, a personal trainer, and he said, well, do it then. And I was like, but I can't. And he was like, but why not? Like, just go back to college, get the qualifications you need, and just do it. I wanted to get from A to B, and I didn't know how to get there. So he sat down with me, we looked into courses. I found a really good course at Loughborough College. So I went back there for a year and a half and trained to be a PT. And while I was training to be a PT as well, I got put forward to be Fitness Instructor of the Year, which was incredible. And like during this time of my life, it was just so much growth, like mentally, physically, within business, within fitness, everything was just so bloody good at this time of my life. I absolutely loved learning, and I thrived off that, and I loved growing. I loved this self-development journey that I was on. And I remember one of these years was like the best year of my life. Like I opened up my own personal training business. That was when Train with Aim was created, and I got Tia like literally on the same day. And yeah, everything was just, I had a really good boyfriend. Everything was just really like falling into place for me, and it was just amazing, a really good time of my life. So a couple of years later, I decided to compete in a bikini, as in like a bodybuilding competition. So again, this was a really significant point of my fitness journey. I spent 10 months with a coach, and I'd visualized so hard about me stepping on this stage in a bikini and how I was just going to smash it. And so within those 10 months, I put my everything into it. I literally stuck to plan for the whole 10 months. And during that time, you know, because you were putting yourself into it, rather than just reading shit, you were actually like applying everything and doing it. I learned so much when it came to food. That was like the point when I realized you definitely don't need to cut out carbs. And yeah, it was a really amazing point of learning more about myself, like knowing that I did have the discipline and determination to do something if I wanted to do it. I put my mind to it and I did it. Here is me competing, but as you can see, I'm still super tiny, not really got a lot of muscle. I probably was still quite scared of carbs at this point, because I'd been so brainwashed over the years that carbs were bad. What was significant about this part is that I realised I really loved the drive. I loved living and breathing it. I'd go to the gym in my heels, I'd be posing, I'd be practicing posing, I'd be practicing posing like every day, like whether it be in the gym or in the garden. I'd be making my meals look amazing, and even the coach was like using them on her website because I was really into food photography. I don't know why, but that was fun. And then I even went on holiday during my prep. I went to Mexico, and I remember this holiday so well because this is one of the first holidays where I was like committed to something else at the time, and so I was going to the gym every morning and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I'd literally like wake up really early, get to the gym at 7 AM. I had like, you could see the dolphins while I was training, and then I'd go and eat like really well from the all-inclusive restaurant as well. Like I was so locked in, and I really enjoyed that about myself. So yeah, that was a really kind of significant holiday for me. So yeah, I went to Mexico in March and then competed in the May. So after I competed, I wanted more. I felt like, right, I'm ready for the next one. So I hired a different coach. I wanted to learn different things from someone new. So I hired a different coach, and I really enjoyed her way of like delivering the food side of things. She did it completely different to my first coach, and again it was like a whole new learning curve. But then my relationship ended. So I'd been with this guy for like the past 5 years, and our relationship came to an end, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately at the time, and I could not focus. I could not get in the mindset of competing again. So I said to my coach, I'm just gonna have to stop for now and just like go and live life. And that's exactly what I did. For the next several months, I just went out, I had a good time, I was like having a few drinks, nothing wild, and just, yeah, living life and going on dates. I'd never been on like dates before, so that was fun. And then met someone else quite soon after, and then life started to like get really good again. So a brand new gym opened up just down the road from me, and it was like the dream gym. Like there was so much equipment. It was like a independent warehouse gym, and I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted, and it's like here. And when I went to view it, they offered me a job there as well as a PT, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So yeah, I'd got a new man, a new job, and like life was getting good again. And I thought, right, do you know what, I'm gonna get into some photo shoots. This seems to be the trend after having been in a bikini competition. So yeah, I just went with it, and I booked on loads of photo shoots, and I absolutely loved them. I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed them so much more than competing, because you didn't have to look a certain way. You didn't have to like, you're not being judged. You're literally just there for you, doing your thing. And so yeah, I did do like quite a lot of photo shoots, and I did so many different varieties with so many different photographers. And I absolutely loved my photo shoot era. I absolutely had a blast. However, 2020 then happened. Now, this year is obviously so significant for everyone. It was a whirlwind, let's put it that way. So, me and the new guy broke up. So during lockdown, I had to deal with a breakup, but I used it really positively. During lockdown, I was like on it. I kind of needed that drive and focus to distract myself away from the breakup and not just sit there and be miserable. And so I found that all this extra time was actually a gift, and I just went hard on workouts. I actually had my third coach by this time as well, because before lockdown I had considered competing again. However, lockdown came, and then I was just like, no. So yeah, lockdown, I was on it. I was like training twice a day. I was getting back into running again. I was getting back into my home workouts again, and I just really enjoyed myself, and I got really fit. But then lockdown ended, the gyms opened, and so did restaurants. And this is the point where I started to actually lose myself. PTing was all over the place at this point because of lockdown, opening, closing. So were my clients. So I was like half online and half like just trying to get by, making money, and life was hard for everyone, like not just me. But yeah, it was at this point where I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to compete? Do I want a photo shoot? Like, I just don't know what I want anymore. And I hadn't dealt with my breakup properly. I hadn't like healed. And so when bars and everything were opening again, I kind of started drinking quite a lot. I did do like a couple of photo shoots, but they kind of became like the norm. It wasn't really like a drive for me anymore. It was just like, yeah, I'm having a photo shoot next month and I look fine. Like, it wasn't like a challenge anymore. Obviously I still thoroughly enjoyed them, but it was just something wasn't like firing me up anymore. 2020 was bad, 2021 was messy, and then 2022 was literally the worst year of my life. So I was extremely depressed in these years, and I had to completely stop doing my personal training. And like, I had personal training, boot camp, a run club, I had everything going for me, and I just felt like I'd just kind of lost it all, and I was in such a dark place. I had to have like therapy and everything, and I just completely lost my way and lost myself. And something really significant happened in 2022 that I won't talk about on here, but it made me realise that I need to find myself. I literally need to get back to me, or this is game over. Oh my gosh, don't get emotional. Put it together, Amy. So anyway, I quit drinking because drinking was a huge depressant, and it really was not helping where I wanted to be in life whatsoever. I started just to really focus on myself. So I quit dating, I quit any kind of distractions like social media, anything like that. I would literally put my phone on flight mode and go and do what I needed to do. And what I needed to do was literally just find my way again. And so I'd go and do things that I enjoyed, which was hiking. I found a huge love for hiking in those like years, in my last several years. Hiking was so bloody good for my head at that point. It still is. It's still a high priority in my fitness life. Going out on these hikes alone was just honestly life-saving. It really was, really is. I don't know why I'm talking in past tense. While I'm out hiking and stuff, I'm trying to get back into the gym. I'm trying to, like, you know, get back to weight training, thinking about what goals I want, blah, blah, blah. And I realised that I am so bored of just doing weights. And because I've not got, like, I don't want to compete again. I will never compete again. Like, that's just not me. I will do a photo shoot again. I love them. But I needed something more challenging. And I really needed some kind of like variety back in my life because I was extremely bored. I didn't realise it at the time. It's taken me like a good several months to realise this. And so I took myself away from the gym for several months just so I can literally like find my way again, find what it is that I want to do, not have to do. And I started running again, and here we are. Like, I've started running again. I've started completely mixing up my training again, and I'm just literally, I feel like I'm starting my whole fitness journey again from back when I was like doing those home workouts, going out for runs, doing that obstacle course racing, figuring out all my food and stuff like that. I literally feel like I'm back there, but knowing so much more. So I'm so much more confident in knowing what I'm doing, like eating wise and stuff like that. Obviously I've recently changed to an animal-based diet, which I know that's cutting out a lot of stuff, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm doing it because I want to, not because I've read it out of a magazine, do you know what I mean? So yeah, now I feel like I'm entering into more of a hybrid era, which I am so excited about. I am running a 100k ultramarathon in July, which I cannot wait for. And I know it's going to be physically and mentally challenging, but that is exactly what I thrive off. If I am given a project, I will literally give it my all. I will live and breathe it every single day right until that day. And the fact that I can mix up the training as well, like get out in the peaks, or like go and do intervals or hills, or get in the gym doing leg days, it's just, it's what I really want to do right now, and I can just feel that fire coming back, and I'm just excited for it. I'm so excited for it. Gosh, what a video. So it has been one hell of a roller coaster on the fitness journey. But also, like, with relationships and everything, like, it's been a rocky road. It's been one hell of a road, one hell of a journey, like. So I'm gonna wrap this up here because obviously it's been a long one today. I will be back on Sunday at 7 o'clock, and I'm in the process of filming a week of workouts ready for our Ultra in July. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I shall see you Sunday. Good night.